Okay, so today what we're going to look at are quartiles. Quartiles is when we take a set of data, basically as the name would suggest, and we divide it up into 4. We know that we can find our median, and then from our median that gives us half, and if we divide each half in half, that gives us our quarters or quartiles. So initially, to find the median, as you know, there's 2 ways to find the median, depending on whether it's an odd number or an even number. So if we've got an odd number, so in this case there are 9 numbers. So if we count from each end, so if there's 9 numbers, the halfway is going to be the 5th number. So if we put a circle around the 5, we've got 4 numbers on the left and 4 numbers on the right. So that's our Q2, or our median of this set of data. When we have an even set of data, so in this case, basically the same set of numbers, but I've got an extra 9 on the end, I now have 10 numbers. So instead of having just 1 number in the middle, I have 2. So in this case, I've got number 5 and 6, which happen to be the 5th and 6th numbers. So I've got 4 numbers on this side, and I've got 4 numbers on this side. So our median of this set of data is actually halfway between those. So we add them together and divide them by 2. So in this case, it's 5.5. Now, once we know what the middle of our data is, we can work out what our lower quartile is and what our upper quartile is. So to find our lower quartile, it will be slightly different depending on whether we have an odd set of data or an even set of data. We're looking at the lower set of information, so we're looking at the Q1 is halfway number of the lower half of the numbers, regardless of if it's odd or even. But you'll see if it's odd, we don't include the number halfway, because remember that is our Q2. But if it's even, we do include it, because remember our Q2 of this set of data is 5.5, so it's halfway between those 2 numbers. So we do include the 5 when we're finding the half of that. So for our odd set, we've got 4 numbers. So because there's 4, the same as when we found the median, we take those 4 and we find the middle. In this case, it is 2 because both numbers are 2. If they were different numbers, we'd add them up and then divide them by 2. Now, in the even case, we do it exactly the same as if there were 5 numbers to find the median. So we find the middle number of the set of 5 numbers, including the 5, which is part of our calculation for our Q2. So that's lower quartile. Upper quartile is exactly the same. With our odd numbers, we're just using the numbers above the median to find it. And you'll see here the 6 and 7 are different, so we just add them up and then divide them by 2. Here with our even numbers, we've got an odd number above the median, so we just find that halfway mark. So other significant things that you need to know are the minimum and maximum values, and as the name suggests, minimum is our smallest number of the data set and maximum is our largest number of the data set. The other things that you need to know is why we do this, and part of it is to look at the measure of spread. So once we know our minimum and maximum, we can find the range. So that's the lowest number the largest number minus the smallest number, maximum value minus the minimum value. And the other one is our interquartile range, which is between the upper quartile and the lower quartile, which is where 50% of our data should be. And then once we know that information, we can work out what outliers are. So outliers are data elements that sit outside the vicinity of the rest of the data. So a data point that sits 1.5 interquartile ranges less than the Q1, but we'll go into actually calculating that later.